and Marvin's very close friend, a true humanitarian and good friend to the American Cancer Society, Lily Safra. You will hear more about Lily shortly. Marvin left us too soon. We realize it is a special gift how much his music contributed to people's happiness. His legacy is a cure for the simplest of headaches and the most complex of heartaches. Like every little step and every big note in Sweet Smell of Success, Marvin's music is synonymous with the gentle genius that he was. He was a good friend to me, to you, and to the American Cancer Society, and tonight's festivities are a celebration of Marvin as we knew him. Tonight we pay tribute to Marvin through beautiful music, and at the same time we will help the American Cancer Society successfully finish the fight against cancer. Research is at the heart of our mission at the American Cancer Society. Thanks to the generosity of our donors, the Society has invested more than $4 billion in research since 1946, more than any other private, not-for-profit organization in the United States. In that time, we've funded more than 20,000 scientists at more than 1,000 institutions nationwide. We have a successful track record of identifying the brightest early career investigators with the most promising ideas across a wide range of disciplines. We have funded 47 researchers who have received a Nobel Prize, and we have played a role in most of the major cancer research breakthroughs in recent history. Last year, the American Cancer Society responded to 1 million requests for information and assistance. They helped patients and caregivers become informed partners in their own treatment with reliable information about their diagnosis and treatment options. The Society provides emotional support through programs and practical help to remove barriers that interfere with treatment, such as lodging, transportation, and lack of insurance. Imagine being told by your doctor that the best treatment for your cancer type is nowhere near your home. For many patients from Long Island to Asia, the best possible treatment options are right here in New York City. However, a 6-week stay in New York for cancer treatment is financially devastating and certainly not covered by insurance. But the American Cancer Society is here to help. In New York State last year, ACS provided more than 3,200 nights of free lodging to cancer patients and their families. Many of those nights were at our Hope Lodge right here in New York City. Our Hope Lodge in New York has saved guests more than $35 million in lodging costs since it opened its doors in 2007. This is all while they are being treated at hospitals like Memorial Sloan Kettering, New York Presbyterian, Mount Sinai, and all the New York hospitals. We could only do this from donations from people like you. I'd like to share with you a note from one of the guests staying at Hope Lodge. Quote, "Smiles and caring people greeted us. You made us feel so welcome. an oasis in a desert. We came from Oregon, but felt as comfortable as being at home. Thanks for being there for us. I must tell you all, Hope Lodge is truly a home away from home, and it's free to patients and their caregivers. As a member of the American Cancer Society's volunteer team, I say thanks to all of you for being here tonight so that Hope Lodge can be there for patients and families who need it. Tonight, there will be no auction, no raffles, no paddles, no balloons. I will let the stars do the singing, and I will let the professionals do the performing. I only ask that you take a look at the donation card inside your playbill and consider making a gift so that the maximum amount of effort can support American society in providing research, education, and patient care services to anyone that would need it. May tonight's music and magic inspire you to give as much as you can, please. Let the sweet smell of success pave the way to a successful end to this dreadful, terrible, devastating disease, cancer. On behalf of the American Cancer Society, thank you for your continued generosity. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce one singular sensation, Terre Blair Hamlisch. I should say take it away, right? Take it away, Terry.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2013 recipient of the American Cancer Society Marvin Hamlisch Memorial Award for Artistic Endeavors, my good friend, close friend and neighbor, Mr. Michael Douglas.
Thank you, Gala. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Good evening. Thank you all for being here and for your support for the American Cancer Society, being here to honor Lily Safra, and to remember our dear friend Marvin Hamlisch. I'm sure many of you knew Marvin over the years. I certainly did. But I knew Marvin first through my father. Although Marvin and I were the same age, maybe it had something to do with him being such a child prodigy. But he was always a young guy with the older crowd. And socially, he was at like a lot of dinners out in Hollywood, and I'd come out to visit my father, and I'd see him there. And we know how funny he is. We know how talented he is. You just have to look at his bio. But he was always so generous about getting down to the piano, even though everybody knew that's what he wanted, or what we wanted. And he was just so wonderfully open and friendly about that. And I was always admired him over the years when I was younger and would see him there. And then more recently, my wife, Catherine, and I moved up to Westchester County just a few years ago. And lo and behold, our new neighbors were Terry and Marvin Hamlisch. And Marvin was doing the music for a picture that I was working on called Behind the Candelabra. So Thank you. Thank you. Yes, listen, I am, actually very proud of that. And so we all got to spend a lot more time together before we lost him. Marvin was very close to his family, and he lost his mother and his sister to cancer. So I think it's fitting, and I think it was very appropriate of Terry to make this humanitarian award in honor of the American Cancer Society and for all the good work that he does. I was honored and fortunate enough to be the first recipient of this award. I guess I'm happy I got the award. I'm not so happy about the cancer that I got, but I am happy just to be here and to be able to talk to you all about it. The lady that we're honoring tonight, Lily Safra, Terry will be speaking about her in a second, but is really an extraordinary, generous woman amongst other many cancer organizations that she supports, among many other things. And just looking at her resume, one other thing that came up to mind with all the other things was Hope and Homes for Children. And this is for Romanian children who were rescued and saved, over 150,000 of them. So I think it's very appropriate that you're choosing a very special person tonight. As for Terry, what can I say? She's contagious with energy. I really was wonderful chance to get to know her with Marvin as our neighbors. When she put together this humanitarian award right after losing Marvin, I was so impressed with her courage, her organizational skills. Any of you who have been in touch with her know what an extraordinary woman Terre Blair Hamlisch is. So will you please welcome me in bringing her back to the stage. Thank you all. Thank you.
Wow.
My pleasure.
Here we go. Lily Safra. Lily Safra is an extraordinary woman. She is dignity and grace personified. With her keen intellect, she is her father's daughter. She has a sharp wit and impeccable, flawless style. In fact, everything Lily touches, whether a home or a dinner party, is spectacular. She leaves beauty in her wake. Her quiet, dignified giving without taking personal credit has assisted hundreds of organizations in over 40 countries around the world. She has supported numerous scientific and medical breakthroughs. A recent example is last year, billions of people watched as a paralyzed 29-year-old man kicked off the World Cup in Brazil. He was wearing the Walk Again brain-controlled robotic exoskeleton developed by an international team and based on years of innovative research at the Edmund and Lily Safra International Institute of Neuroscience in Brazil. Lily has a commitment to caring for the less fortunate. She has helped establish a youth village in Rwanda, provided welfare services for the elderly in Odessa. She has taken a lead role, as Michael said, in building homes for children in Romania. Her awareness of the distress experienced by the families of those battling serious illnesses led her to build the Safra Family Lodge at the NIH in Bethesda, Maryland. One of my personal favorite stories is here in New York City. When Lily saw the distress of the homeless here in the freezing cold winter, she went down to Uniqlo and bought and distributed coats, long underwear, gloves, and boots without anyone knowing. There was one man without a leg, and he lay on a subway grate for the little warmth that rose above it. And when Lily gave him this coat and gloves, the man stood on the grate with his crutch, and he reached for the sky, claiming, "There is a God." And in this case, I could add, the God was a woman named Lily. Over the years, I witnessed the great love between Lily and Edmund that she continues to express today by carrying on his legacy. Lily is a great and loyal family friend. One of our favorite personal Safra Hamlisch family stories is Lily and Marvin decided they were going to take a barge trip in the Loire Valley in France. Well, for those of you who know Lily, and for those of you that knew Marvin, Lily and Marvin just don't have barge temperaments. And for the whole family, it was not just one slow barge, but it was a whole caravan of slow barges. So with grandchildren in tow, two being here tonight in attendance, Ariel and Samuel, barely moving, like watching grass grow, we soon realized that this barge vacation was in need for some movement. So I decided, well, as Lily and Marvin pointed out, one could crawl faster than these things were going. So I decided, thought, hot air balloons to the rescue. So up goes 6'4" Marvin with diminutive Lily at his side in their balloon basket into the air. I was floating behind them with a couple of grandchildren huddled with me in my balloon, and this is what I see and hear next. Lily and Marvin turn to the pilot and ask, "How does this work? How do you steer it? Where are the controls? Where are the brakes?" Now you have to understand, these are two people who are used to being in control in their lives. Next, I hear the pilot say, "We have no controls. It's just the wind." Now, I don't see Lily and Marvin's head at all anymore because they've done the duck and cover position down in the bottom of their basket. And all I hear are these voices coming from the basket. Baruch atah, huge push of wind, Eloheinu. They're praying. Then it's a true story, right, Lily? And then I see their basket flung perilously low over a highway, swinging back and forth over speeding cars. Grasping the grandchildren, I look down and I see Marvin and Lily's hot air balloon plunging to the ground in a crash landing, toppling over completely in a French farmer's field. Now there's not a sound from the occupants underneath, only silence. Well, except the sound of the screaming of the French farmer. Now, I've only had 2 terms of French, but from his tone, he wasn't welcoming us with champagne. So our balloon lands, and we run over to witness Lily crawling out from under 6'4" Marvin, who had fallen on top of her in the landing. So I think we're very lucky to have her here in one piece tonight and not in some permanent body cast and doing a benefit for the Hospital for Special Surgery. So the next year, Lily and Marvin nixed our summer vacations together involving barges or balloons, except for the small ones that we used at our birthdays. In the years and years of memories that are built, that is the true foundation of deep, lasting, loyal friendship that's rare and precious. It's Lily squeezing my hand at the funeral and whispering in my ear. It's her comforting hand-holding at the Barbra Streisand Memorial. It's Lily's encouraging words, "Get out of bed, we're going to Harvard." Painting a picture for me, sending me flowers, making me laugh, encouraging me to work, making me live again. So here is to the greatest woman I will ever know in my lifetime and my closest friend. I can think of no one that deserves the 2015 American Cancer Society Marvin Hamlisch Memorial Award. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in acknowledging Lily Safra?
dear Terry, dear friends, I am delighted to be with you this evening. And I am deeply grateful to all of you for your generous support of the American Cancer Society. Our beloved Marvin was a uniquely kind and generous person who brought light and joy to the whole world. To receive an award in his name is truly an honor, and I thank you for your thoughtfulness. I would like to share just one memory of Marvin with you. Almost 15 years ago, I was privileged to build the Edmund J. Safra Family Lodge at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, a place where families of patients being treated in the clinical center can stay and be together during very difficult and emotional illness and times. Every December, even with his busy schedule around the holidays, Marvin would make a special trip there to play and sing for all of the patients and families. He was so humble, he never even told me about it. I found out only when the staff on the NIH sent me photos of the huge crowds laughing and singing along. Marvin had so many talents and gifts and an extraordinary open heart. I will cherish him forever. Thank you all for this special honor. Thank you. Thank you, dear. Thanks.
If I can kindly ask for your patience, I just have some very important thank yous, and I'll try to go really fast. So first, a thank you to Diana Feldman and your committee at the American Cancer Society, especially Sherry, Joe, and Linda. Monica Kennedy. Monica Kennedy, you are a star, and you did so much heavy lifting. And as Michael Douglas said to you, Marvin's mother, Lily, died of lung cancer, and his sister, Terry, died of breast cancer. And he cared greatly for the cause and would want everyone to support ACS and the Hope Lodge. And here we have something very interesting tonight. To the cancer patients in the balcony, it is you who we are fighting for. And I'm so glad you're here tonight, and we are all pulling for you. Now that we've had the first half of the evening about Lily's beautiful work to save the world and make the world a better place, now we're going into the dark side. Sweet Smell of Success is a very sophisticated piece of theater. The lyrics are by Craig Cornelia, and the book is by John Guare, and the music is by Marvin Hamlisch. This show, Sweet Smell, in concert would not have happened without the award-winning team assembled here that donated all of their time for free. And these are not out-of-work actors. In fact, these are Broadway royalty. They're all currently in shows, and they're very busy. So there's a couple of people when I go through these introductions that I want to bring out, and the first one is Tony Award-winning stage manager Peter Lawrence and his assistant Nathan, the production manager.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. I don't know what, thank you. But thank you.
Without Peter, this wouldn't be possible, the long hours that he's put in. Our maestro tonight was Marvin Hamlisch's associate conductor for the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. for 11 and a half years. His bucket list is to conduct a Broadway show, and Marvin told him, "You're sort of overqualified, so I'd like to introduce him tonight, Maestro J. Ernest Green." Marvin was a musician's musician. He always had the back of his musicians. And I have to tell you, on this stage tonight is a remarkable feat. We have some of the I'm not saying this for superlatives, we really do have some of the finest musicians in the business, and we've even closed down a few New York shows because they were playing for us tonight. I'd like them to stand, please. These are some of the greatest musicians New York City has to offer. In fact, Ed Shea over in percussion, Ed, can you wave? He's been playing, what do you think, Ed? For 40 years, right? 40 plus years he's been playing on Broadway. And the musicians today at rehearsal kept coming up to me and saying, this music is the most difficult music we've ever played in our lives, right? And Ed said, genius. Look, they're all smiling because it's so difficult, but they pull it off in a brilliant way. We'd also like to thank our musical director, who's Broadway renowned, James Cunningham, and our I feel like I'm at the Oscars with this balcony up there. And our ace soundmen, which are great friends, Bob Rendon and Darren Gerhardt. And on lights, we have Chris Dallos. And our Emmy Award-winning choreographer just flew here from Hollywood from Taylor Swift's World Tour, and he's the choreographer for the Fox TV show So You Think You Can Dance, Tice Diorio. And to our costumes, Michelle Humphrey, and I have to thank all the agents and managers that have been dealing with me for the last 5 months that I owe breakfast, lunch, dinner, or my firstborn. And the cast. I don't know, there's a lot of buzz right now. I know Broadway.com is filming this tonight because this cast that's been assembled is pretty incredible. Drama Desk Award winner Adam Jacobs, who currently stars as Aladdin on Broadway. Tony-nominated Jeremy Jordan, the star of NBC TV show Smash. And the star of Newsies. I have something to say. Jeremy Jordan, when he sings this song at the fountain, where JJ's telling him he has to keep the O in his name. Jeremy Jordan, I have to be honest, just knocks it off the planet tonight. It's like nothing I've ever seen. We also want to welcome Drama Desk, Drama League, and Outer Critics Circle nominated award winner that's at the Manhattan Theater Club right now, Lindsay Mendez. Most recently seen in Wicked. And from Broadway and symphony stages, the star of Little Night Music with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Angela Lansbury, the star of Les Mis and Marvin Hamlisch's Nutty Professor, Marissa McGowan. And wait until you hear her voice. And 3-time Tony Award winner Mark Kurdish, currently on Broadway in Hand of God. And can be seen on Netflix and House of Cards. These two people, I have to say something about how lucky we are to have them on our stage tonight. because this pianist and violinist I can say this, are the best young classical musicians in the world. The Boston Globe calls this next performer's playing of classical violin, they say he has the charisma of a rock star, and he is the incomparable Charles Yang. The pianist who's flown here just to do this is the artist that opened the New World Symphony this year under the baton of Michael Tilson Thomas. He's the phenom classical jazz and crossover pianist Peter Dugan. We have the star of Kennedy Center, Carnegie Hall, and Lincoln Center, Stephen Brinberg, and the star of Ragtime, Jesus Christ Superstar, and the original Sweet Smell of Success, Bernard Dotson. Going to go really fast on this one. The ensemble, Samantha Ryan, Amanda Craig, Matt Justin, Reed Ryan, Mary Dion, Mindy, and Chrissy Whitehead for flying all the way from LA on her own dime. This is a story where Chrissy was in the revival of Chorus Line out in San Francisco. She didn't get to come in for Marvin's funeral. So she flew here tonight to dance and sing for Marvin, and Marvin loved you, Chrissy. And finally, I'd like him to stand wherever he is in the house, our extraordinary director, who Marvin left his last notes before he died to on this musical, John Simpkins. And for me personally, I'd like to thank Charles and my sister and nieces for taking the time to come tonight. Okay, here we go. Sweet Smell of Success, so you know, this is not a full production, or we'd be here till 2 in the morning. It's in concert, so it has some dialogue, but we want you to really enjoy the songs and the music of it. And think really hard if this sounds familiar. You ready? A press person that has a lot of power to destroy us with one rumor. That's J.J. Hunksucker. A person that wants to be that powerful person. Well, that's Sidney, who's willing to do anything to get ahead, including give up his girlfriend, Rita. There's a jazz pianist in a club that just wants to play music with principles and not be corrupted. That's Dallas, who falls in love with a young Grace Kelly type that the powerful press agent creepily controls. That's Susan. Does this all sound familiar in 2015? Nothing has changed. And Sweet Smell of Success, its time has come back to Broadway. Here we go. Set in New York City in 1952, tonight's performance is dedicated to Lily Safra. Ladies and gentlemen, Sweet Smell of Success in concert.